Welcome to In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard, CEO of academia.edu, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Every episode, I take a deep dive into a piece of academic research, neutral as always, not endorsing, just exploring, and try to pull out what it means for you right now. So today we're tackling a really interesting paper authored by Gareth Slinn. He's an independent accessibility specialist, cognitive researcher, and founder of auig.org and neurologicalux.com, if you want to check him out. The paper's called NIL, a neuroadaptive framework for understanding imposter syndrome in ADHD and autism. Yeah, that is quite a title, huh? So what's the core question here? Basically, Slinn is asking, is imposter syndrome the classic feeling of being a fraud despite evidence of success, just about distorted thinking, or is it something else, especially for people with ADHD and autism? Now, imposter syndrome traditionally gets chalked up to low self-esteem or perfectionism, but Slinn's proposing a new theoretical model called the Neuroadaptive Imposter Loop, or NIL. I swear academics love their acronyms, right? But seriously, why does this matter? Well, if you've ever felt like your accomplishments don't really count, or you know someone who's neurodivergent and struggles to internalize praise, this paper might make you go, wait, that's me, or wow, that explains it a little bit. So let's break it down. The paper kicks off by highlighting how most existing models see imposter syndrome as just a psychological hiccup. But what if, Slinn argues, neurodivergent folks experience it differently? Maybe it's not a character flaw, but a neuroadaptive coping mechanism. So yeah, the big insight here, imposter beliefs may actually arise from a loop, a repetitive cycle that's rooted in neurocognitive differences, not just how you were raised or your workplace culture or whatever. So what actually creates this loop? Slinn points to four main neurological contributors, and let's run through them together. First up, working memory deficits. Imagine trying to remember your last win, but your brain just doesn't file it away. So when someone says, "Great job," you're like, wait, did I actually do that? That can seriously disrupt your sense of achievement. Second, interoceptive disconnect. And, okay, I had to look this one up. Interoception is basically being able to feel your own bodily signals, like pride, excitement, relief. Many people with ADHD or autism have less of that awareness, so positive emotions after a success, they just don't land the same way. Third, emotional dysregulation. For people with rejection sensitivity, and that's pretty common with ADHD, even small setbacks can totally override all the praise in the world. So you might hear, "Great job," but then the tiniest criticism burns in your head for hours or days. Fourth, chronic masking. That means hiding your natural behaviours to fit in. When you have to constantly perform, success can feel like it's happening to your fake self rather than your real one. That disconnect just makes your wins feel even less real. When you pop all these together, Slinn says they make up this neuroadaptive imposter loop, a phrase I keep repeating because, honestly, it's catchy. It acts as a protective system. If you're used to being misunderstood or invalidated, your brain develops these habits to keep you vigilant. It might be exhausting, but it's also maybe intelligent in a wild way. So how does this matter for, everyday life? Slinn emphasizes that instead of telling neurodivergent people, hey, just fix your thinking, we might need to approach things differently. Interventions could include stuff like achievement anchoring, linking successes to rituals or sensory cues, or evidence logging, where people physically record their wins. Oh, and masking awareness, recognizing when you're hiding your true self and figuring out why you're doing it. There's also using visible reminders of your capabilities like post-its, tattoos, or digital notes. Workplaces take note too. If you run a team, Slinn suggests moving away from competitive ranking and towards appreciating different work styles. Regular feedback, flexible schedules, valuing diverse thinking, these can all help reduce imposter loops. And quick digression here. There's this cafe I used to go to that had a wall for people to post their small wins from got out of bed today to got a promotion. It always made me smile, and now reading Slinn's ideas I'm like, maybe they were onto something deeper than just cute sticky notes. Anyway, back to the paper. So, bottom line, the message isn't that all imposter syndrome is the same, or that neurodivergent people are wrong for feeling this way. It's that self-doubt in this context might actually be a complex adaptation, not just a malfunction, but a sign of hard work your brain is doing. Just to be clear, none of this is absolute truth, right? Like all research, it offers one framework to consider, and you don't have to agree with it. I'm just presenting Slinn's ideas here and encouraging you to reflect, share, or discuss them. Maybe this prompts a new insight for you or someone you care for. That's all for today's episode of In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price. Thanks for listening, stay curious, and remember that every paper is a conversation starter, not the final word. Until next time, keep exploring.